My name is Pezzy Chaos, and I have been making painting and 3D printing models and props for over a decade. However, today you're going to watch me paint this 3D printed Labubu model from Hex 3D Patron, which I'm a patron of. Now this was 3D printed in resin on my Elegoo satin, and I've already base painted it with some filler primer from Halfords. Right, let's not hang around here. I've already airbrushed the face, the hands and the feet and the ears with white grey, and then a dash of electric blue. That's to give the flesh sort of like a dead look. I got the idea from painting some Cenobite busts some time ago, again from Hex 3D. I am now using some burnt umber around the edges of the fur, just to get all those little awkward bits first. This is going to take a few coats, obviously, and once I've done that, I can move on to the more interesting things. Using the magic of time travel, I've done a coat on the body. I'm going to continue to build up that colour and then move on to the head. Always using nice thin coats.
5 minutes later.
Just done a coat on the head now as well, and now I'm going to go around the ears. And you have to be very careful going around the ears here because it's a very delicate area. I don't want to get this really stark contrasting brown onto the bright white that I've, well, not bright white, white grey that I've put on there. So I'm being very careful going round the edges of the fur on the ears.
2,000 years later.
It's like 2,000 years later, however it felt like it. So after many coats of the brown, I'm now going to use some glaze medium and some brown black to essentially wash over this brown that I've done, just to get it so it all gets in the recesses of the burnt umber that I've put on there, because you can tell it's still a little bit patchy here and there, and I don't want that. So now here I am just globbing it on, basically. Don't have to be too delicate here, just you don't want huge mounds of it on there, but you just want a nice coating. And yes, I could have used a simple wash with water, but I like using the glaze medium. I like doing it this way. Okay, so now that's on there, and had some time to dry. I'm now going to dry brush some leather brown and some yellow ochre on there. Maybe some sort of like bone white as well in patches, just to give, you know, just to pop out that detail, those details of the fur a little bit. Didn't quite work as I wanted it to, but it was good enough. Especially around the edges of the fur on the face and the edges of the ears, and especially around the tummy area where all the organs and things are. Dry brushing is really important, of course, on models like this, because it really picks out those details and really makes your model pop. Now time for my favourite part. The insides. Yes, so everyone has a different method for painting blood and gore and things like that. This is mine. So I use Vallejo's Gory Red, the old one. I don't particularly like the new one. It's a bit too pink. However, the old one seems to be a darker shade when you water it down. So I've watered down the Gory Red here, the old type of it. And I'm just going to go around all the organs, all the inside centre, including the rib cage bit, and I'll paint over a bit of that. I'll try and paint as best I can in between. And then I'll go over all this, maybe do a second coat, and then see how that looks from there. Okay, so here we are with all the organs painted and the ribcage painted with the bone white. So now I'm going to wash it with a nice little custom mix colour. So the mix I use is Thick Blood and Demon Blood from Vallejo, and it's their special effects paint. So I think they leave like a glossy finish, and I'm going to mix it with the glazed medium as well, just so it sits in those recesses and little corners of the organs and stuff like that, and especially the ribcage section really well and holds there. I know people who would just use wash and just and do it that way, but I like doing it this way, and I prefer doing it this way, and I've had good results doing it this way. So I tend to stick to what I know and what works for me. So here we go. Make sure it's nice and thin. You don't want it too thick, otherwise it'll just completely override it. And mix it with a bit of water as well. Make sure your brush is a bit wet, and then mix it in. And there we go. Really, you just go all over until you can see you can actually see it changing the shade, and just getting in all those little corners and all the little recesses there. Oh, I think there's a little bit too much there that I didn't want, so I just put a tiny corner of kitchen roll in there just to soak it up, and it instantly gets rid of it. So next, I want to give this entire model some safety, because obviously I'm still handling it and things like that, and I don't want to rub off all this nice paint work. So I'm going to give it a coating of some matte lacquer, and you can see here all that dark blood mix that I did has all gone into those the organs and the recesses nice and lovely there, so it looks nice dried old blood. Obviously once the matte lacquer is dried, I'll come back into this with some gloss lacquer. Okay, so now that the matte lacquer is dry, I can now go back into the organs and the bones and the flesh and stuff with some gloss varnish. It's polyurethane varnish I'm going to use, and just put it on nice and liberally here. So it makes that look all gooey and fleshy and wet, basically. Makes it look more icky. And here it is, the finished piece. Quite pleased with it. I wanted something quick and easy for my first painting video because I've never done one before, never edited one before, as you can tell, and never painted on camera before. So yeah, I wanted something nice, quick and easy. And thanks to Hex 3D for the brilliant models from Jeff. Join me next time when we'll be making a gadget that a certain adventurer couldn't possibly do without, an Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Fortune and glory awaits.